welcome to No Question About That. This is the Tactics Pod with me, Ed, and him, Dharnish. Dharnish, how's it going?
Bad. Another loss. It's going really, really bad. Let's get into it. It's starting to lose the will to live, starting to lose the will to watch these football games and come up with answers, really.
0.04 XG from open play in the second half of yesterday's game. Oh, wow. I mean, that really stings when you're chasing a game against Brentford and it's that bad. But, Dharnish, you know, he said, if you want to change system, change the man. He did. He went to a flat back four for the last 5 minutes against Brentford. He did. He brought Zirkzee on, went to a flat back four. He's not going to do that again, though, is he? Go on. Why did we lose then? Apart from the obvious, like the details, the lack of red card, Bruno missing a penalty and stuff like that. What did you think? What did you make of the lineup? What did you make of Maguire and De Ligt both being in the side, Yoro still being out? United's approach, Bruno is basically I'd say a number 6, effectively. He was that deep yesterday. What are your impressions of all of it from a tactical point of view?
Well, a lot of questions there. Firstly, they got done in completely on long balls and long throws.
Yep, as we said.
Tactical trends of the Premier League this season, we've just seen it. It's been a game of who scores more from corners, Arsenal and Newcastle, and Arsenal won. That's what the league is now. It's big, physical, imposing. Fuckers, if you can win the ball in the air better than the other team, you can probably win more situations where you'll get closer to goal. And Brentford just absolutely did his in that regard. He said after the game, we played Brentford's game. I was like, yeah, but they do it better because they have targeted long balls. 2 long balls came in. Maguire ran up 20 yards to try to play the guy offside. He ended up doing Michael Jackson's moonwalk. Doesn't work. Okay, you're 1-0 down. Another long ball happens and De Ligt just completely misjudges it. If you misjudge the ball, okay, fine. Go and be a little bit aggressive and put him off. And then, like you said, it's the fine margins, this, that, the other. But I don't believe it is because in those 90 minutes, not only did we not create enough chances, I didn't see Amorim's football attempted apart from minute 1. Amorim's football is you trap them in one area of the pitch. When there's 5 or 6 players trapped in one area of the pitch, bang, you find the inside midfielder, you switch the ball. Yep. That's actually what led to Brentford's first goal because they were doing that. It just ends up that Diego Dallo was on the end of it. He overhits a pass. Brentford go down the other end and score. But the biggest problem for me is over those 90 minutes in the second half and in the first half, we didn't see any of that. We didn't see what Amorim calls his style of play. We didn't see any of our best players in situations where it was going to be advantageous to them to find space to create an attack. The second half, yes, look, they had a penalty and possibly a red card, but I don't really care because for 45 minutes you did not create anything. You committed too many fouls. Every time Brentford committed a foul, the game got a bit bitty, but I'm not seeing enough to justify finding this pot of gold that supposedly exists at the end of the rainbow that you keep telling us to find. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like, at the end of this rainbow, there's going to be a pot of gold. It's like, Amorim, this rainbow absolutely sucks. I'm tired of being on the rainbow. Stop telling me there's a pot of gold at the end. I can't see anything.
There's no pot of gold, Amorim. It's a crock of shit. That's what we're trying to find at the end. Yeah.
Everybody on this travel is turning around going, well, hold on. What are we doing here? They lost on long throws. They lost on long balls. They were more dangerous in the second half, Brentford, than we were because every time the long ball came over, they would create a crossing situation. Then you go into, all right, fine, look, they're losing the game. Can I see anything else that's happening from this manager that I like? Or is there certain things that he's doing that I just flat out don't agree with? And you go, yes, because I'm seeing certain attacks where Ugarte is the guy that backs the new front lineup.
He's the counter-attack. He's the counter-presser, yeah.
It was really odd because then you get into certain positions where you go, okay, Bruno Fernandes is the deepest midfielder now, and that's long been a big... We've had plenty of talks on this podcast. Yes, he's very good at that role because he's an excellent player in general. I'm tired of this notion of Bruno's the problem, this, that, the other. He would be elite playing left back. But this this experiment with him being the deepest midfielder isn't working out.
It's mad, and it's entirely for this thing of getting the ball, very vertical. Call it long ball, long pass, whatever. So he's the first man. He's getting it off the centre back on the half turn and trying to hit these diagonals into areas where, in theory, United should have overloads. But like Andrews talked about it after the game. Keith Andrews talked about, and I think one of the Brentford players, I forget who now, they were talking about how their plan on the defensive side of things was to force United into getting the ball into the wing backs and cutting off the supply line into Bruno, right? So either Bruno's taking it on the half turn for the centre backs, turning, trying to hit a long ball, or it's going out to the wing backs, as United often do in build up there, and they can't get it into midfield anyway. So then it's a hopeful ball, and again and again and again, United got caught in those traps. Brentford went to a 4-3-3 in this game as well, just to compound our weaknesses in central midfield. Like this is a manager first ever managerial job, 5 games into it, and I was going to say he's tactically out-thinking our manager, but he's just but the weaknesses are there for everyone to see, right? Every team in the country is going to play to their strengths and against their opponents' weaknesses, except for United, because we only play to our weaknesses, apparently. And it's just deeply frustrating that some of these just really obvious, basic tactical things don't get changed. And the one big change we've seen from United, like this season, tactically, let alone personnel, is just to go much more direct. I mean, much, much more direct.
I think so, yeah. Well, there's little sprinkles of Amorim's football in there, especially against Arsenal and especially against Burnley and stuff like that. Like we spoke about before, trapping the opposition in one area of the pitch and
so you get the overload and switch, yeah.
It's just when you get on, when it's a player who gets on the end of things where they need to make a right decision in the final third. It's not one of the best chance creators in the world. It's not one of the historically, statistically, one of the best chance creators come hell or high water, however good the team is every single season. He's creating chances. It's not him. It's Patrick Dogu and Diogo Dalot, which is a huge problem. There's also these other things that I saw tactically that I don't like, where it's even one of the front three isn't dropping anymore. I don't know if that's on purpose. I don't know if that's to keep defenders pinned up, but
I think it's to win second balls.
The point is, the fullbacks are up to pin the defense. One of Mbeumo and Cunha, because they're very good at that. They're very physical. They're good at dropping a man with them. He traps the ball as you play to Cunha and Mbeumo, and then you make runs off him. I didn't see that. It was there's some tactical tweaks that were very, very strange, where all three of them, Šeško, Cunha and Mbeumo, were right pinned up against the defense. Diogo Dalot was playing as an inverted midfielder again. I don't know if you saw that. He wasn't wide. He was inverted. There just wasn't enough for me to suggest that anything is going to be turned around, because this isn't a manager who is making tactical tweaks and he's already telling everybody, and he's sticking to his principles. And last season I think half the season was a write-off. Because half the season was a write-off for most teams. I think we forget that. Most of the Premier League teams around the table, unless you were City, Chelsea, and Newcastle fighting for fourth, they probably couldn't tell you what games were played for those last 10 games. Those defeats and those statistical records have piled up, but then it's okay, you have a pre-season, we've given you 2 of the best players in the league. Show us something. Show us something in these first 6-7 games. And he hasn't. It's probably gone close to disastrous with the Grimsby result, and time is just sort of running out with the manager now. And I get people in my DMs every single day saying, I don't like doing the cycle, but you should keep faith in him. There is not much to keep faith in at this moment in time. If they got it wrong 3 times, they got it wrong 3 times. Go again for the 4th.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, there's an argument to say, not necessarily saying I'm saying this, but there's an argument to say that not changing managers enough is a problem, right? If it's going wrong, it's going wrong. The whole point about having support around a manager, director of football, technical director, data analytics, health stuff, all the stuff they've changed, everything. they've changed is to support whatever coach is in place at one particular time. They are now not the manager, they're the coach, so you can have consistency across coaches and managers. In theory, I'm not saying that's necessarily how Ineos have set it up, because they hired a manager with a very, very specific game model, very specific. Now, fortunately, we bought players, good players, who can play in multiple systems. And so if we have to make the change, if the change is made, and all the smoke signals coming out of the club is that they're not going to make the change, but if the change is made, that you should, in theory, just be able to slot someone in, use the players, hopefully in more of them in the positions to which they're accustomed to and perform best. And then it's like that. I think the thing that worries me when you have this conversation about Amorim is that his assumption clearly was that his game model is the right one, and with better players, we'd get better execution, right? And so then you go, okay, well, we'll give it a bit of time, right? So 5 games in the League Cup defeat, we've got that, but we've also got the 40 games that came before it last season, and all the same problems transposed across, even when you've got those better players. And so, and then the only change I can spot, apart from the players that have gone and the players that have come in, is that we're much more vertical. We're still trying to create the same patterns in the final third, just getting there quicker. And on the defensive side of things, we seem still have the same transitional problems, like still have the space in behind our pivot, still have the gap between the wide centre-backs and the wing-back, like all the same ones. And every bloody week, a manager or a player in their interview says, hey, this is what we did to beat them. And we'll all be like, yeah, we can see that too. That's the thing that freaks me out a little bit. Rather than, like, it's like any manager with the threat of their job on the line would probably go, hey, maybe we need to tweak something.
It's just, I don't really see him turning this around point blank. I don't.
It's hard to see in that.
It's really, really hard to see because there's not too many things tactically I can go over anymore. It's just there's other certain things where, okay, you want to do what the rest of the league is doing, and that's play long balls, but you don't even do that right. In the 46th minute, I ran through all my notes yesterday from the game. In the 46th minute, go back and look at it. All you weirdos that rewatch games before bed, me. Luke Shaw threw a long ball up in the 46th minute 3 times. He got the ball once, threw it back, it came back to him. Second time, third time. All 3 of them, none of them went to Sheshko. They all went to Mbeumo. He's good in the air, but he's not. Nathan Collins is probably going to beat him in the air every single time.
Yeah, Pinnock and Collins, yeah. I mean, not that those two have been playing well this season, but yeah, that was obvious, right? We said it on the last week's pod. When you play a deep block, playing these direct balls is less effective. It just becomes a fight.
Yeah, it becomes almost pointless. There's just, I think we have to talk about the game state as well, because we've had the game against Fulham, we've had the game against Burnley, we've had the game against City, we've had the game against Chelsea, and then the game against Brentford. That's 5 out of 6 games, I would say, whereby, because of whatever happens in the second half, they're either in a situation where they want to defend the lead desperately. I'm talking about Fulham, I'm talking about Chelsea.
Yeah.
Or they are, and Burnley as well, or they are in a position where they have to really chase the game. So I'm talking about City, I'm talking about yesterday when they were 2-1 down. So those are the 2 states that they've played in. Absolutely. Apart from like Arsenal, where I don't know what happened. Maybe they were buoyed because of the new season, maybe because of the new signings that came in. They largely kept a cool head, and it was the same game plan throughout. It's just those
1 week extra training as well. So
yeah, I
confidence and extra training.
Yeah. Extra training definitely helped. But those 2 game states have been the states that Man United have played in, where it's we have to absolutely chase the game. So we've got 9 or 10 men in or around the opposition's box. We're trying to go side to side and trying to create a goal. But if I lose the ball and I'm Harry Maguire, they're going to have a transition and likely score. It happened against City. It happened against Brentford. Or they have the desperate go low, go deep block, and just try and hold what we have because we are so desperate for 3 points. Worked against Chelsea, didn't work against Fulham, and it almost didn't work against Burnley as well. They needed a last-minute penalty. I can sit here and talk to you about fine margins, and I can sit here and talk to you about goalkeeping mistakes, and I can sit here and talk to you about the XG. Just the black and the white of it is, in the games that we've seen this season, I just don't feel as though this team creates enough chances. And I feel as though...
And not good ones.
No,
like,
not good
it's
ones.
a lot of low XG chances.
But I feel that the team is in a state of desperation. It's not... No, there's no calm heads there because they're so desperate for 3 points. And I feel as though the manager and the club are probably heading towards a divorce.
Yeah, I mean, all the noise, the briefings they're going to stick with him. Ratcliffe believes they should stick with him, give him a full season with the right team, etc., etc. And that's fine if you take a very long-term view. Problem is, if you take that long-term view and then you say, hey, is the direction of travel right that we believe we'll get to that North Star that we really want to get to, it's very hard to make an argument right at this moment that you can see any path. I mean, the briefings last week were that the underlying data is the one they believe in. I don't know. I look at it too. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert with data, but I'm quite good at it. I mean, I've made many multi-million-dollar investments in data-side companies.
Rich flex.
Yeah, no,
Rich flex.
Well, not my money. Not my money. Someone else's money, isn't it? But I'm looking at that and I'm going, where's the strong underlying data, right? You could point to the high XG, but most of it's some very, very low quality shots. So is the plan here to have volume? So win second balls, fight, get a shot off. We have so much volume that'll do well for us this season. The problem is it's completely counteracted by the fact that we have the highest XG against in the league as well, right? Or as of before yesterday's game. I assume it's still close to it. Given it was so. over two XG for Brentford yesterday. So, and then if you look at the individual shot quality of the opposition shots, it's really high. It's really high. It's like 0.18 or something like that. And which was the worst in the league, comfortably as well. And so we're giving up really good quality chances and creating really shit quality chances in this system, and that has been the pattern for 50 games now. And so I struggle to see the path that we're on where it's good, and I don't see what they're seeing in the underlying data that tells me it's going to get better, and this is just unlucky, because you can go, yeah, there should have been a red card yesterday. Should have been a red card. Absolutely. And Bruno should have put his 2 penalties away against Brentford and Fulham, and this would have made a big difference. Probably, we'd have been at 2-2, wouldn't have been chasing the game. That third goal probably wouldn't have come for Brentford, right? So you can point to these little details, but across 50 games, that argument doesn't hold, right? You can't go, well, we are unlucky for 50 games.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
Especially when there's a lot of buzz. I'd like to ban the word Amorim system on my Twitter because it's the system. But especially when you live and die by the system, we haven't seen that it's fruitful enough. Even when you have 2 of the best players of last season in the Premier League, it's not fruitful enough. And you're doing things now where you're putting some of the best players that we've had at this club in worse off positions. You're not maximizing. Yep. You're not maximizing any of the players. I'm not really sure who's gotten better under him. It's just all these things are stacking up. Apart from the fact that you don't want to do it again, and you don't want another cycle, and you don't want another manager, and you don't want another. We're going to be back after 5 wins, and you don't want Ineos, especially probably don't want. He was our guy, so we don't want to tell everybody that we got it massively fucking wrong again. Apart from that. There isn't much saving grace. It feels like we're saying the same things on this podcast, but it feels like what are we kind of doing here? It doesn't really make too much sense to me anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, and it's that ridiculous cliche now about doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. That being madness, and I think we're all being driven mad by it. I mean, the point that you said earlier about players out of their position. And it's not a tactical one really, but it is a tactical one in that it's happening because Amorim is crowbarring players into his positions. But it's like not just the obvious ones. Bruno being the most obvious one, or Ahmad on the bench being the next one. Obviously, can play yesterday because death in the family and all of that kind of stuff. It's all over the pitch. I mean, Binder is in his right position. He's just crap. Dalot is never a wing back. Dorgu, we're asking him to be one of the principal creators when that is the weakest part of his game. Great physical athlete, brilliant athlete, gets up and down. I do like how brave he is. We talked about this earlier. End product, terrible.
Yeah,
end product's terrible. And then we're also asking, Luke Shaw's playing left side of a back three, different position to playing a fullback. Harry Maguire yesterday, although he switched a couple of times with De Ligt, was principally sometimes it was De Ligt on the right side of that back three. Sometimes it was Maguire. Neither of them needs to be there, basically. And I guess they were there to look for the long balls yesterday, but it just felt bizarre when one of them was pushing into midfield and Yora's been so good at it. Obviously, the two in midfield, completely out of position. Even Ugarte, like the counter presser, he's up there to try and win the ball back quickly. And then he's totally out of position. Cunha's the only one who really looks... Cunha and Sesko are basically in their position, so Cunha likes playing on the inside. But we've got Mbeumo really wide now because Dalot was doing what you were saying and coming inside. That's not what you want, Mbeumo. You want him wide to in, where he's most dangerous. That's why he scored 20 goals last season. So I think it's not even 3 or 4 players out of position. I think it might be 8, and it's no wonder you're getting bad performances from them.
It's 8 players out of position whilst chasing games, whilst abandoning the philosophy or principles that you absolutely ride or die for, or that you absolutely stick on. It's just a big mess, really. I'm intrigued to know whether he said after the game, we played Brentford's game. I'm intrigued to know whether that was instructional, or whether the players just decided to go long, or whether in training sessions midweek they said, yeah, we're going to go and play long and we're going to try and play Brentford's game. Because I look at the Fulham performance, or I look at the Arsenal performance, where the first half against Fulham was good, the entire game against Arsenal was good, where it was just stick to the plan. Even if we don't create that many chances, Chelsea went there. Chelsea have got probably good overall, better squad than what we do, I'd say. Chelsea drew against Brentford, but they struggled to create as well, but they stuck to their plan. I feel as though yesterday I wasn't even really watching Amorim's philosophy. They kind of scrapped the plan. I'd like to have seen one of the 10s dropping deep, fizzing the ball into him, trying to drop players to bait them into the press, and then switching or then going long. I didn't really feel like I saw that. I saw a very bitty Barclays Premier League game where either coach could have been Sam Allardyce or Alan Pardew.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it feels like that. It's not quite that crude. We did get one moment when Cunha came deep and ran with the ball, and he could go right to Bruno for an open shot, or left at any point for the overload, and ran and shot. And
it was that existed, yeah.
Oh, I was like, you're better than that. Pick the right pass. You're now got a lot, in theory, better players around you that could do something. So, what did you make of Sesko yesterday? He got the goal and
good,
but he seemed he looked quite sharp actually. It looks like some of his fitness is catching up now.
Good. I mean, we're obviously scraping the barrel here, but he didn't give up for his goal. He basically created his goal by himself. Three shots on target in the space of 10 quick seconds. Even the goal,
that'll juice the XG somewhat.
Yeah, and the shots on target for Sesko, but even the goal where Ugarte overhits the pass to Dorgu, it's like a hopeful long cross, and Mbeumo just about makes something out of it, and Sesko doesn't give up. He looks sharper. He keeps emptying the clip, which is good. He keeps shooting. He shoots. I think he had a shot as well before the goal that he scored. It was outside the box. It's good that we just have somebody who pins defences back now. We can pin defences back. Mbeumo and Cunha, one of them can come and drop deep and receive the ball. The other can join Šeško up the pitch. But it's wonderful that Šeško scored, I think. Whoever comes in next, because I don't think we're going to be doing this podcast for the rest of the season talking about Amorim. I just don't think we are. So I think it's brilliant that Sheshko scored. I think it's brilliant that Mbeumo scored, and that 2 out of 3 of the new signings. Actually, all 3 of the new signings are kind of looking good, I'd say.
I'm happy with the new signings. It's what goes on around them is the problem. It would be nice for Cunha to get a goal. He hasn't got that yet. He looks a bit frustrated by that. Obviously, he missed a game with injury. We've had start to the season with international breaks. We've got it again. We've got Sunderland next week, then the international break, then Liverpool, then Brighton. At least Forest are playing shit now and just gone there. So we have them coming up after that, don't we? So it is pretty desperate. If I was betting, I would not bet on Amorim being in position by the time that second or a third international break of the season comes around before the Tottenham game. I think it's before or after. I can't remember which one it is now. I think it's just before.
We're scraping the barrel.
You can't have a 25% win rate and...
Unfortunately, not at Man United. I mean, before it was very much, we were firing managers because we were like, no, we want to get back to the way things were. We want to get back to first and consistently in Europe. So Van Gaal, Mourinho, Solskjaer, even though they won trophies and even though they were consistently in Europe, they were sacked because they weren't good enough, deemed not good enough because this club needs to be challenging for titles every season. Then I feel like we gave the next 2 managers after that quite a lot of grace. Because we were like, maybe we're the problem. Maybe we should get behind these guys. And things have gotten so bad to the point with them 2 managers, so bad. I feel like we're thinking that we're the problem the whole time because of the fact that it's not working and the cycle keeps going on. But when you just look at the results for Ten Hag's second season and just the entire regime of Amorim, it doesn't stand up with what Man United want to do. Ed Woodward would have been sacked after Europa League final. He would have been sacked last season a long time ago under Ed Woodward.
Bring back Ed Woodward, I think Dharnish is saying. All right,
absolutely.
Let's move on before we... yeah. All is forgiven. No, it's not.
No, it's not. No, the Super League happened. No, don't call me, Ed. Don't call me.
Sunderland next week, then... They're up to 5th in the Premier League at the moment. They've had a surprisingly good start to the season. They recruited pretty well, a mix of physical players, Granit Xhaka for some experience. They play a 4-2-3-1, so they will outnumber us in midfield. Thoughts on Sunderland so far this season?
The promoted. I'm really glad that the promoted sides are doing well. It largely stems from the teams that came up last season, I felt, Southampton, Leicester and Ipswich. Ipswich less so, I felt, because they're more battlers. But Southampton and Leicester particularly, they were like, we're going to play our brand of football. It's very much, I don't care that we're in the Premier League, we're going to pass it out from the back. Burnley, Leeds and Sunderland, they're more pragmatic. I think Ange and Forrest sent about 15 crosses in yesterday. And I remember the Sunderland defender after, I don't know his name, I'm sorry, said, that game could have gone for 2 hours. They wouldn't have scored against us. That's the kind of mentality that these new promoted clubs have. On top of that, I feel as though the Stadium of Light and Elland Road, less so Burnley Stadium, they're big fortresses as well. I don't think teams are going to enjoy going there. So I think that's
get good atmospheres. Yeah.
Buzzing atmospheres. What's that Kaiser Chiefs song that the Leeds sing after they win? La 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 la.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
You don't like that one?
I'm not a big fan of Kaiser Chiefs, no.
Me neither, but they have a big atmosphere.
Not a big fan of Leeds either, or Elland Road for that matter.
But Sunderland, basically, they will play a lot like what Burnley did, I think. They'll be hard to break down. Although Man United are quite good at breaking teams down at home for some reason. It feels like they feel off that atmosphere at Old Trafford this season. I think of Chelsea, I think of Burnley. They started both games really aggressively. I'd imagine they do the same against Sunderland, to be honest. I feel like they can.
Well, it'd be good if we did start aggressively. Yeah, it's been... Actually, there have been a few games where they've started well this season, but yesterday, obviously not. Pretty crap, actually. I haven't... Regis Lebris. Lebris. It's bordering on offensive now, this part, isn't it?
Sorry.
Sorry, French people who are listening. Many apologies or something. What do we know about him? I mean, I have not followed his career.
I've not followed his career heavily. I've seen quite a few Sunderland games. They're really...
I think he's younger than their owner. I mean, their owner's about 12.
Who's the Sunderland owner? Is it... what's the name? Delilah? No, that's the Norwich owner.
No. She also sold her interest in, didn't she, in Norwich?
Well, I hope he's all right.
Just drinking wine and eating food, I imagine. I forget his name. He's like the son of a billionaire French guy. Forget his name, but he's super young.
Sarkozy, maybe?
No, yeah, Sarkozy, who's now doing 5 to life or whatever for very corrupt.
Is he?
We found guilty. He got 5 years. Yeah, 5 years.
Sorry, sorry to everybody who might think I'm really ignorant on this podcast. Sarkozy's in prison.
Yeah, wow. Very corrupt scheme to skim off the top of. Yeah. Anyway.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, look, United at home have been better, sort of. I mean, we've got terrible records.
I think that's.
We haven't won away for 8 games in the Premier League, and we have a terrible record against teams in the top half, of home or away. Terrible. I think it's 3 games, 3 wins against teams in the top half at the point we played them. And so that's been pretty bad. So that doesn't bode well for Sunderland. But you'd imagine they have to do something. I guess if it's another really pathetic performance, much in the ilk of Brentford, then we really would worry that the players have said, yeah, enough is enough. I don't really believe that's true, but creating consistency from performance to performance seems really impossible right now. So it's not like you can go, yeah, I know what we're going to get against Sunderland, I guess is the point.
No. I'd say the home performances have been a marked improvement. Yeah, it's fair to say that. Arsenal was very good. They were very unlucky to not score. Arsenal were very lucky to score, I felt. Burnley, honestly, they should have put them away in the first half. There was so many chances.
Should have done, yeah.
There's the Amad Diallo open net, this, that, the other. Chelsea, the intensity was a lot more first 20 minutes. I know they had a man down, but still the intensity was a lot more. Second half was very much backs to the wall with Casemiro off. So I think it's really fair to say that at home they're a lot better team. They're more aggressive. The crowd gets behind them. They press a lot better. There's a lot more turnovers that I feel that happen from Man United. I'm particularly thinking of Burnley or the Arsenal game. They make a lot more chances when they steal the ball up the pitch. If you could do that against Sunderland, I think they should be fine.
Yeah.
And I imagine as well that Sunderland they're going to play in the same way that Burnley did, which is basically to not lose. And the game only got nervy because Man United didn't really put Burnley away in the first half. Then you started going to this weird thing that happens in the second half where the plan kind of goes out of the window. I feel like it's happened in almost every game apart from Arsenal.
Or when there are changes, when he switches out the midfielder or Casemiro goes off on the hour or he makes his centre-back substitution.
Yeah,
because he always does.
I feel like that's happened in every game apart from Arsenal. But looking ahead to Sunderland, get a nice quiet win away from everybody, getting into the international break, and then I guess we'll see what happens because we keep talking about the league form, but then I remember I'm like, maybe they lost to Grimsby. I feel like that was a big one. I feel like if that didn't happen, if you take that,
obviously,
but if you take that result out, what would we? How would you assess it if you take that result out? I don't know.
I'd be saying 3 defeats in the league this season is what I'd be saying.
True, but I feel like there's a little bit more fine margins in the league to have. But it's just, if Grimsby Town are figuring out the way you play, it's, I don't know, I feel like the writing's on the wall. But even having said all of that, they should beat Sunderland.
Should and could are 2 different things. All right, we'll leave it there. Dharnish, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everyone catch us in all the usual places, ad-free on patreon.com/NQAT pod if you don't want all those horrible ads for whatever we're advertising at the moment. Can't remember what it is. But all right, see you next time. Bye now.